Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and get right to the heart of what you need to know to be truly well informed. Let's be honest, when it comes to personal finance, especially if you're a young adult just sort of navigating your first big financial steps, it often feels like you're trying to drink from a fire hose.
Oh, absolutely. It's just a torrent of confusing acronyms, conflicting advice, and, that constant pressure to get rich quick.
Yeah,
It's overwhelming.
it's not just overwhelming, it can feel paralyzing, actually. You don't know where to start.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that so many people approach personal finance purely as, well, as numbers, how much you earn, how much you save, what investments you pick. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the sources we've dug into today reveal it's fundamentally about something far more encompassing than just money.
Yeah, that's a critical distinction, and it's really our core premise for this deep dive. Personal finance isn't simply about managing your bank account, it's about strategically managing four fundamental resources we all possess throughout our lives: time, health, experience, and, yes, money.
And understanding how those four interact, that's crucial. It's a perspective that can completely change how you approach your financial future. It transforms it from like a chore into a journey of conscious choice.
Right. So our mission today is to extract the most important insights from the research and articles we'd gather, offering you a kind of shortcut to becoming truly well-informed on this more holistic financial framework.
We really want to empower you to make deliberate choices about these incredibly precious assets and build sustainable financial habits. Habits that will serve you not just for a few years, but for decades to come.
So think of this as your personalized guide. We're here to help you navigate those tough trade-offs consciously. We'll provide practical steps and insights that go beyond just the numbers, helping you build a life that's not just financially secure, but, well, deeply fulfilling.
We're not just crunching numbers here. We're exploring a blueprint for a well-resourced life.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's dive in.
Okay, so let's unpack this core idea that personal finance is about more than just money. It's these four interconnected resources: time, health, experience, and money. It sounds simple, maybe, but the implications are incredibly powerful when you consider them over, the span of a whole lifetime.
Yeah, a key point that emerges here is that this framework provides a truly holistic view that encourages you to move beyond just tracking figures on a bank statement. Instead, you view your entire life as this dynamic portfolio of interconnected assets. And when you adopt that mindset, decisions about your career path or maybe further education or even just how you choose to spend your leisure time, suddenly they take on this new and profound financial dimension.
It's interesting how that plays out across different life stages, isn't it? Because when you're young, for instance, you're typically rich in time and health. Life feels like this endless expanse, right? A vast landscape of opportunity. You've got abundant physical strength, seemingly boundless energy, right?
But usually you find yourself with very limited money and, well, pretty nascent experience. You're at the starting line, basically building everything from zero.
That's absolutely spot on. And that particular combination, it presents both unique opportunities and, frankly, significant challenges. Because time feels so infinite in youth, it's incredibly easy to postpone anything that feels like financial planning.
Oh yeah, retirement seems like light years away.
Exactly. Why worry now?
Yeah.
And your peak health and energy mean you can dedicate long hours, maybe take physical risks pursuing goals, and generally recover quickly from setbacks. But the flip side is, with limited life experience, you haven't yet learned from the inevitable financial missteps or had the chance to witness market cycles firsthand. And as we know, starting salaries are often modest, so money is typically pretty scarce.
And that sets up what our sources call the great trade-off, this constant exchange that defines so much of your working life. You're essentially trading two abundant resources, your time and your health, for the acquisition of experience and money.
Precisely. I mean, consider the most obvious exchange. You trade your hours directly for a salary and the potential for career advancement. Straightforward. But there's also the more subtle, yet equally impactful exchange of your health for experience the stress, maybe the sleepless nights, the physical demands that often come with building a career and climbing that ladder.
Yeah, that definitely resonates.
And in return, you're gaining invaluable wisdom through experience, learning from both your triumphs and your setbacks, navigating various economic cycles, and critically, through this whole process, you are accumulating financial resources, building savings, making investments, acquiring tangible assets.
Which ideally brings us to later life. The ultimate goal, then, is to arrive at that stage rich in accumulated money and honed experience, while gracefully accepting, that you'll naturally be more limited in time and often in health. You want sufficient resources and wisdom to sustain yourself comfortably.
To live life on your own terms. In later life, time undeniably becomes this incredibly precious commodity. There's a heightened awareness of mortality. And consequently, the intrinsic value of each remaining moment increases dramatically. Health, too, may decline, leading to physical limitations impacting earning capacity or increasing expenses due to health care. However, the decades of learning and adapting mean your experience is compounded into genuine wisdom, leading to better decision-making. And crucially, if you've planned effectively, your accumulated money provides a robust security blanket, replacing the need to trade diminishing time and health for income.
So, this framework really underscores why personal finance isn't about finding one single magic answer, but about making this continuous series of strategic choices. It's about finding the right balance for you at each distinct stage of your life.
It's a nuanced dance, for sure. Like, when should you consciously prioritize gaining experience over simply earning more money? Our sources highlight that some experiences are incredibly time-sensitive. Think about extensive global travel, maybe certain physically demanding adventures.
Or starting a family, perhaps.
Exactly, or starting a family. These often have a finite window when you're younger and healthier. There's also the profound investment in education and skill building. This might mean foregoing immediate higher earnings or taking on debt, but it pays exponential dividends over decades.
Increases your long-term earning potential, adaptability.
Absolutely. And similarly, building meaningful relationships and professional networks requires a significant upfront time investment, but its value becomes just immeasurable later in life.
And then on the flip side, what about prioritizing money over immediate experiences? The answer here often comes down to understanding the incredible, almost magical power of compound growth. Even a small amount saved consistently in your early years has an exponentially more impactful effect than much larger sums saved later on. It's almost hard to believe sometimes.
It really is. That seemingly insignificant sum you put away today, compounded over 30 or 40 years, can genuinely burgeon into a truly significant amount.
Yeah.
And beyond pure growth, prioritizing money early builds that vital layer of security. Establishing robust emergency funds early prevents minor setbacks.
Like a sudden car repair or dental bill.
Right, or even brief unemployment prevents those from completely derailing your carefully planned financial future. And systematically building assets, whether through diversified investments or maybe property, creates options and a profound sense of security. It gives you genuine freedom later in life.
Freedom to make choices out of desire, not necessity.
Precisely.
So the wisdom truly lies in striking that dynamic balance. It's recognizing you shouldn't sacrifice all present experiences for future security, constantly fearing some distant financial doom. But by the same token, you absolutely cannot just spend all your time in health without intentionally building a foundation for the future.
You need to shrewdly identify which opportunities are time-sensitive, meant to be seized now, and which ones are designed to compound powerfully over decades.
So why does this framework matter so profoundly to you, the listener?
Well, it's fundamentally about optimizing these critical trade-offs. It's about getting the absolute best return on your time, health, and money investments. It also encourages you to build robust financial systems that work with human nature, rather than fighting against it. By automating good decisions, you reduce reliance on willpower.
Which can be pretty fleeting after a long day, let's be honest.
Certainly. It's also about preparing intelligently for the inevitable life stage transitions, understanding that your financial priorities and the relative value of your resources will naturally shift. And ultimately, it's about creating sustainable habits that serve you for decades, allowing you to ride out economic cycles and personal changes with resilience.
Yeah, the ultimate goal isn't necessarily to accumulate the most money possible.
Exactly. It's to have the optimal balance of resources and wisdom to live a truly fulfilling life at every single stage, making conscious choices about how you spend your most precious assets, your time, your health, your experiences, and your money.
It's a completely different and, frankly, much more empowering way to look at your entire financial journey. Okay, now that we've got that big picture in mind, that sort of holistic view of your life's resources, the question for many is, okay, great, but where do I even begin? It can feel like you're trying to build that house without a blueprint, just guessing where to put the walls.
Yeah, and our sources actually have some incredibly practical quick start steps that might surprise you in their, well, There's simplicity.
But it's absolutely crucial to start with these foundational steps, right?
Oh, definitely. Think of your personal finances like constructing that house.
Yeah.
You need to lay incredibly strong foundations before you even think about the roof, let alone the fancy interior design. Structured planning isn't just nice to have, it's non-negotiable.
It's the prerequisite for making informed, confident decisions about your money. All right, step one, and it sounds incredibly basic, I know, but this is where a lot of people stumble right out of the gate. Truly understanding what you actually keep from your earnings. We're talking gross versus net. It sounds simple, but I remember my first proper paycheck and the shock of seeing how much just vanished before it hit my account. What's the fundamental trap here?
The trap is assuming that headline number, your gross salary, is what you actually get to budget with. It's a fundamental concept, but far too many people overlook it. Let's illustrate with a real-world UK example. Say you get a job offer for £30,000 per year. That's your gross salary, the impressive number.
The one they put in the job ad.
Exactly. But you absolutely will not receive £30,000 in your bank account. Here's what typically gets deducted. Maybe around £3,486 for income tax, £2,628 for national insurance, potentially £810 for a student loan if you have one,
Right.
and perhaps £900 for a pension contribution if you're auto-enrolled.
Just as examples.
Okay, so doing the quick math there, from that £30,000 of gross, those deductions add up to, what, $7,824?
You're right, yeah.
Which leaves you with a net salary, your actual take-home pay, of $22,176 for the year. That comes out to roughly €0,848 per month hitting your bank account. That's the reality you plan from. And why this distinction matters is absolutely critical. Firstly, for budgeting, it's the ultimate reality check. You cannot, under any circumstances, budget based on gross.
Right.
If your gross is $30K, you cannot realistically afford £2,500 a month in rent. You only have about £1,848 to work with. Your budget must be built on your net pay, period.
And this totally reframes how you compare job offers too, doesn't it? It's not just about the gross salary number.
Not at all. Job A might dangle £32,000 gross with a basic pension, but Job B might offer £30,000 gross but come with a really generous pension, maybe great employer maxing.
Ah, okay.
If you calculate the net wealth accumulation long-term, considering immediate take-home and future retirement savings, Job B could very well be the far superior choice because of those, hidden benefits.
And this deep understanding also opens your eyes to strategic tax planning.
Definitely. When you grasp that £100 put into a pension from your gross pay might only cost you £60 to £80 net, depending on your tax bracket, you suddenly realize the government is effectively subsidizing your retirement savings.
Which is an incredibly powerful incentive, especially when you're starting out.
Huge. And it's not just salaries either. You'll see this gross versus net distinction everywhere. Investment returns, for example. You might see an 8% gross return advertised, but after fees, maybe 0.8%, your true usable net return is 7.2%.
Yeah.
Always focus on net returns.
Or even bank interest, right?
Yeah, a 4% advertised rate might be 3.2% net after basic rate tax, unless it's held cleverly in an ISA where gross equals net because it's tax-free. And property investment, you hear about high gross rental yields, but the net yield after maintenance, voids, tax, that's the real number. Headlines love gross. Wealth building happens on the net.
For a simple memory hook, I always tell people gross is great, but not what you get. It's the big attractive number, but not the reality.
I like
And net is what you know you'll get. That's the usable money.
Companies often use gross numbers in ads because they look bigger, more attractive.
Yeah.
But your practical takeaways should always be calculate and budget using net figures. Understand your true hourly rate from net pay. Compare job offers net, including all benefits.
Dig into investment costs. Focus on net returns.
Exactly. And use reliable online calculators to convert gross to net. It's not about what you earn. It's about what you keep and what you can do with it.
Right. That leads nicely into the next bit. There's that classic quote, often attributed to Benjamin Franklin. In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes.
A classic for a reason.
It nails a fundamental truth. Taxes are inevitable. But what's really important, and maybe often misunderstood, is that while you can't avoid them entirely, you can often significantly influence when, and crucially, how much tax you ultimately pay.
But before we dive into the strategy, it's really essential to acknowledge the value of taxation itself. Taxes aren't just a burden, they're the bedrock of a functioning society. In the UK, your contributions fund vital services, the NHS, schools, infrastructure, police. These create the stable environment where you can actually build wealth.
That's a really important perspective. So strategic optimization is about smart planning, not avoidance. Paying your fair share is a civic duty.
Exactly. It's an investment in the society that enables your financial success.
Okay, so let's talk about the biggest lever for strategic tax management, particularly for young adults starting their careers. Tax deferral, especially through pensions. This works so well because of the UK's progressive tax system, right?
That's the key. Just to quickly recap, we have the personal allowance, currently £12,507, taxed at 0%, then the basic rate of 20% up to £50,270, a higher rate of 40% up to £125,140, and then 45% above that.
So the deferral strategy is quite elegant.
It really is. During your working years, when your income is generally highest, you contribute to a pension from your gross income before tax is applied. This means you effectively bypass paying those higher tax rates, the 40%, on that specific chunk of income.
Okay.
Then, during retirement, your total income is typically much lower, maybe your pension withdrawals plus the state pension. You're highly likely to fall into the 0% or 20% tax bracket. You then pay tax at these much lower rates when you actually withdraw the money.
Let's put some numbers on it because that really helps it click. Say you're earning £60,000 a year. Without a pension contribution, you'd pay 40% tax on everything above £50,270.
Correct.
But if you smartly contribute, say, £10,000 to your pension, you instantly reduce your taxable income down to £50,000.
Which keeps you within the 20% basic rate band for that portion.
Exactly. So that's an immediate guaranteed tax saving of £4,000, a full 40% of that £10K contribution, money that would gone to the taxman now working for you.
And then fast forward to retirement. If you withdraw, say, £25,000 annually from that pension, after your personal allowance, you might only pay 20% tax on a portion of that, a significantly lower overall tax bill compared to the 40% you avoided initially.
It's aligning your tax payments with your income patterns, paying less when you earn more and at lower rates when you earn less.
It works so brilliantly because it's a form of tax arbitrage. The government is effectively loaning you money tax-free now,
Right, the tax relief.
knowing you'll likely pay it back at a lower rate in retirement. It's like a legal buy low, sell high with your taxes powered by time. You get 40% back now, invest the full amount, pay back maybe 20% later. You keep the difference.
But the real kicker is the compound growth on that gross amount, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The almost unbelievable power comes from that. Imagine you invest £10,000 in your pension. If you hadn't, as a 40% taxpayer, you'd only have £6,000 left after tax to invest elsewhere. Over 30 years, at say 7% growth, that £10,000 in your pension could grow to over £76,000. But the £6,000 invested outside the pension only grows to just over £45,000.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
It's enormous. The tax relief itself compounds. It's almost magical.
And there's the time value of money, too. Tax saved today is worth more than tax paid later.
Precisely. Plus, you often get employer pension matching free money on top of tax relief. It's the highest return investment you can make.
And sometimes national insurance savings with salary sacrifice.
Yes, another bonus. Of course, there are caveats. Rules can change. Pension money is locked until 55, plus rising to 57. So you still need accessible savings.
And it might not be beneficial if you expect a higher tax bracket in retirement, though that's rare for most.
Very rare. But connecting it back to the bigger picture, tax deferral via pensions aligns tax payments with your lifetime income. Pay less when you earn more, pay lower rates when you earn less, all while getting decades of untaxed growth. The government encourages this. They want you self-sufficient in retirement. It's not avoiding civic duty. It's legally optimizing when and how you contribute.
So, okay, what does this all mean for your day-to-day financial reality then? Before serious investing, before those big long-term goals, you absolutely need your money's map. And that starts with a budget. It's less about restriction, I think, and more about having an honest conversation with yourself about where your income meets your expenses.
That's a really important point. Many people focus intensely on income, but neglect tracking where it all goes. True financial control, true freedom, comes from managing both sides, income and outflow. That means getting crystal clear on all income sources, wages, interest, side hustles, and then meticulously categorizing expenses. Fixed versus variable, needs versus wants.
Okay, so for budgeting basics, our sources recommend a really practical method, the multiple bank accounts approach. Kind of like a digital envelope system.
Yeah, it's great. It creates clear boundaries, simplifies tracking, and genuinely helps avoid that cycle of overspending.
So how does it actually work?
The core idea is simple. Give every single pound a specific job. Instead of one chaotic main account, you set up distinct buckets It creates psychological clarity and automates good habits.
Okay, walk us through the accounts. First, your regular income account.
Right, that's your main hub where your salary lands. Crucially, you don't spend from here, it just routes funds.
Got it. Next, the standing payments account.
This is for all fixed, predictable bills. Rent, utilities, insurance, loans, plus your emergency and investment savings. Treat savings as fixed commitments, like rent. Calculate the total, set up an automatic transfer from your income account right after payday. All direct debits come from here. Benefit: never miss bills. Essentials always covered first, automatically.
Okay, that makes sense. Then the discretionary or variable expenses account.
This is your spending sandbox for variable stuff. Groceries, transport, eating out, shopping, fun things. Decide your monthly limit, automatically transfer that amount after payday. Use only this account or its card for this spending. It creates a natural speed limit. When it's gone for the month. Prevents accidental overspending.
And finally, your savings account.
Your growth engine. For emergencies, big goals like holidays or a car, and investment transfers. Sweep any leftovers from other accounts here at month's end. Underspend discretionary. Surplus goes straight here. Reinforces good habits.
How do you track underspend or overspend within that discretionary pot?
Use your bank's app if it has pots or spaces, like Monzo or Starling, or tools like Y&A or just a simple spreadsheet. Categorize and track. Underspend, celebrate, soup it to savings, overspend. Record it honestly. Reduce next month's budget there. Review and adjust transfers every few months.
The advantages seem clear. Automation reduces willpower fatigue.
Huge. Transparency means clear purpose for each account. Protection ensures bills and savings are funded first. Flexibility lets you adjust over time.
Any pro tips?
Start simple, maybe 3 accounts. Automate everything. Golden rule: don't borrow from bills or savings accounts, those are sacred. Review monthly, especially at first.
This method also helps prevent leakage, right? That sort of mindless spending.
Definitely. Those small purchases, forgotten subscriptions, impulse buys, they add up. Prevention needs awareness. Track everything. Audit subscriptions regularly. Set limits, maybe use cash for some things or app controls. Identify your triggers: boredom, stress.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, mastering these foundational habits means your money works for you. It reduces stress, helps avoid that pre-payday anxiety, and lays the essential groundwork for saving, investing, and financial independence. It's the bedrock.
Okay, so with your budget structure, the very first financial priority is building a small, immediate safety net, your initial emergency fund.
That's right. The immediate goal here is, say, 1 month's essential expenses. Or maybe aim for a baseline of around £1,000 and keep it in a high-interest, easily accessible savings account.
What's the main purpose of this small initial fund?
It provides immediate psychological comfort. It's your first line of defense against the unpredictable, a cushion for unexpected expenses without resorting to debt. It's not just security, it's buying freedom. Freedom to handle small bumps without derailing everything. Peace of mind.
Once that initial safety net is in place, step 2, attack any high-interest debt. This is probably the most financially damaging burden you can carry.
Absolutely. Laser focus on anything with a punishingly high rate: credit cards, personal loans, some car finance, often 9% to over 35% APR in the UK.
And why is this such a high priority?
Because paying it off is like securing a tax-free, risk-free guaranteed return equal to that interest rate. You simply won't find that kind of guaranteed return anywhere else.
Makes sense. Are there different ways to approach paying it down?
Yeah, 2 main methods. The snowball method.
Yeah.
Pay the smallest debts first for quick motivational wins. Or the avalanche method. Target the highest interest rates first, which makes the most financial sense, saving you more money overall.
Okay, next up, something frequently described as free money. And it really is a golden opportunity you absolutely shouldn't miss if you're employed.
This is truly a no-brainer. If your company offers an auto-enrollment pension, they'll contribute if you contribute. The legal minimum often means they put in 3% if you put in 5%.
But some employers are more generous?
Oh yes, many are much more generous, matching up to 7% or even more. Your goal should be to contribute enough to get the full employer match, whatever that maximum is.
Because no other investment offers this immediate return.
Exactly. It's an instant 50% or 100% return on your contribution before any investment growth. Plus, link this back to the tax deferral benefits you get, the employer match, and tax relief from the government. It's a massive dual advantage.
All right, so you've got the initial buffer, you're attacking debt, and you're grabbing that incredible free money from the pension match. What's the next layer of defense once that's sorted? Because life can still throw bigger curveballs.
This is about establishing truly significant financial stability. Your goal here is to save 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses, not just any expenses, your core costs.
And keep this where?
Again, in an easily accessible, high-interest savings account, separate from your investments. This fund provides serious financial resilience for major life events, job loss, significant health issues, unexpected big bills.
It ensures you have cash to cover costs if everything hits the fan.
Exactly. It gives immense peace of mind and the ability to ride out tough times without being forced into debt or having to sell long-term investments at potentially the worst possible time. It's your ultimate financial shock absorber.
Okay, so once your safety nets are firmly in place, that high-interest debt is gone or being aggressively managed, and you're maximizing that employer pension match. This is where your money really starts to properly work for you. We're talking about moving beyond just making it work harder, and instead making it work smarter, primarily through strategically investing in tax-advantaged accounts.
This is precisely where the principles of tax efficiency and compound growth really come together to create extraordinary wealth-building opportunities. And what's fascinating is how the government actively incentivizes you to save through these special wrappers.
They want people to be financially independent long-term.
Exactly. These accounts are designed specifically to help you achieve that.
Let's kick off with ISAs, individual savings accounts. Just fantastic tools for any UK resident. The biggest benefit, they completely shield your investment profits from taxes.
Yeah, that's huge. No capital gains tax when you sell, no tax on dividends, no tax on interest earned within an ISA.
And there's an annual limit, right?
Yes, currently £20,000 per adult per tax year. You can spread this across different ISAs types: cash ISAs for savings, stocks and shares ISAs for investing, and lifetime IOs. Using your ISA allowance is crucial for maximizing long-term wealth and avoiding future tax bills on your gains.
And speaking of lifetime ISAs, or LISAs, these are particularly powerful for young adults, mainly because of that government bonus.
Phenomenal bonus. Designed for 18 to 39-year-olds for either first home or retirement savings. For every £4 you save, the government instantly adds £1. That's a guaranteed 25% bonus.
Up to £1,000 free money a year.
Exactly. If you contribute the maximum £4,000. And a key advantage is the bonus is paid monthly, so it starts earning interest or returns itself, compounding over time.
And that £4,000 counts towards your overall 20K ISA limit.
Correct. So if you put $4K in a LISA, you still have $16K left for other ISAs, maybe a stocks and shares ISA.
Now, the withdrawal rules are important here.
Vital to understand. For a first home, property under $450K, you must be a first-time buyer. For retirement, you can't access it until age 60.
And if you take it out early for other reasons?
There's a 25% withdrawal penalty on the total amount withdrawn. So if you put in $8K, got £2K bonus, total £10, and early withdrawal returns only £7,500, you lose the bonus and a bit of your own capital.
Ouch.
It seems harsh, but it's seen as a strong nudge to keep the money saved for its intended purpose, home or retirement. Discourages dipping into it impulsively.
Okay. Beyond ISAs, we have pensions, often even more tax efficient for retirement specifically.
Yes, that's the key distinction. ISAs offer more flexibility with access, but pensions are generally more tax efficient for retirement, especially for higher earners, because of that upfront income tax relief on contributions.
But the trade-off is the money's locked until 55 plus HIDR, rising to 57.
Right. And for those wanting more control over investments, maybe lower fees on larger pots, a self-invested personal pension, or SIPP, is a great option. You can contribute up to £60,000 per tax year across all your pensions, including workplace ones. Hashtag 3.2, active versus passive investing and compound growth.
Now, let's turn our attention to how you actually invest within those accounts. This is a big one, often misunderstood, and it leads people down paths that cost them money and cause stress.
This raises that really important question. Should you actively try to beat the market? Or is the smarter, more effective approach simply to, well, join it? The evidence here is pretty compelling.
So on one side, you have active investing. That's where fund managers or individuals try to beat the market, picking stocks, timing trades.
Right. Actively manage mutual funds, manage portfolios, or are you trying to pick stocks yourself?
And then there's passive investing.
Which means just owning the entire market, or a broad slice of it. Typically using low-cost index funds or ETFs that just track benchmarks like the FTSE 100, S&P 500, or a global index. The goal isn't to outperform, it's just to capture the market's average return.
Okay. And what does the evidence consistently show when you compare these?
Decades of data from sources like Morningstar, SBVia, academic studies. They unequivocally show the vast majority, like a staggering 85 to 95% of active fund managers underperform a comparable market index over the medium to long term, after fees and costs.
So most don't actually beat the market average.
Correct. And even the few who do win in some years rarely persist over decades. Picking future winners in advance is incredibly difficult, bordering on impossible.
And the cost difference is a huge part of why this matters so much, isn't it?
Colossal. Active funds have much higher fees, 0.75% to 1.5% per year, sometimes more, plus hidden trading costs.
Whereas passive funds.
Dramatically cheaper, often 0.02% to 0.25% per year. That difference seems small, but even 1% higher cost annually can genuinely reduce your final retirement pot by 20–25% over 30–40 years.
Wow, because of compounding fees eroding the return.
Exactly. Lower costs mean your money works harder for you, not the fund manager.
And there's a difference in stress and behavior, too.
Huge difference. Passive investing is generally far less stressful. No pressure to pick winners, obsess over headlines, or react emotionally to market dips. It leads to better behavioral investing, less panic selling.
Yeah.
Most individuals who try to go active themselves end up underperforming due to emotional decisions, high trading costs, and poor timing, buying high, selling low, the exact opposite of what builds wealth.
Which brings us to market timing. Why doesn't that work for most people? That desire to jump in and out perfectly.
Countless studies, Dalbar, Morningstar, Vanguard, consistently show market timers get lower long-term returns than those who just stay invested. Why? It's impossible to reliably predict the best performing days.
And missing just a few of those
Can dramatically slash your total return. Since those crucial days are unpredictable, being out of the market, even briefly, can permanently damage your long-term wealth.
It's those emotional traps again, isn't it? Fear selling low, greed buying high.
Exactly. Behavioral finance shows these powerful emotions lead to poor decisions. If even most pros fail to time the market successfully after costs, what chance does the average individual investor really have?
So the practical takeaways for young adults building a financial future seem pretty clear.
Overwhelmingly, yes. For the vast majority, passive investing via broad, low-cost index funds or ETFs is the most effective, reliable, and frankly boring way to build significant wealth over time.
Active investing is hard, risky, unlikely to pay off long-term, especially after fees.
Precisely. Choose diversified, low-cost index funds, stick to a consistent plan, and let compounding and time do the heavy lifting. Stay invested, ignore the noise. Lower stress usually means greater persistence, which is far more important than chasing returns.
And crucial to this is investing regularly, like dollar cost averaging.
Yes. Invest a fixed amount regularly, regardless of market ups and downs. Don't try to time the market trying to pick entry-exit points. Almost always leads to buying high, selling low due to emotions or missed opportunities, the opposite of what you want.
So in summary, high costs, low success, persistence of active versus robust, low cost compounding of passive.
It's a key secret to lifelong financial stability. Consistent, long-term, low-cost passive investing outperforms financially and in terms of reducing your stress.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Financial planning isn't solely about spreadsheets and numbers. It's deeply tied to how we think and feel about money. Let's dig into the why behind some of our financial choices. Our psychology plays a huge role.
It really does. And this raises that important, sometimes uncomfortable question. Why do smart people often make, well, poor financial choices?
Yep.
Time and again, it comes down to our ingrained money psychology and behavioral biases, our upbringing, family background, early experiences. They shape our beliefs from a young age, creating unconscious money scripts and emotional triggers that drive decisions, often against our best interests.
Understanding that difference between rational and emotional financial choices is key.
Absolutely. And research highlights common behavioral biases that trip us up, like loss aversion. Losing 100 pounds feels maybe twice as bad as gaining 100 pounds feels good.
Yeah, that sting of loss is powerful.
Or overconfidence bias, believing we can time markets or pick winners better than evidence suggests. Confirmation bias, seeking info that confirms what we already believe, ignoring contradictory stuff.
Recency bias, giving too much weight to recent events.
Right. And mental accounting, treating money differently based on where it came from or what we intend to use it for, even though a pound is a pound. These biases subtly lead us astray.
Our emotions, too, play a massive, often disruptive role. Fear driving panic selling during crashes.
Locking in losses.
Greed fueling buying at market peaks.
Right before a correction.
Pride preventing us admitting mistakes. Anxiety affecting spending or saving. Managing these emotions, especially during volatility, is a crucial skill.
And then there's the challenge of time horizons and patience. Humans are wired for immediate gratification. We struggle with long-term thinking. It's hard to maintain conviction during setbacks. But wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint. Requires boring consistency over quick wins. Our brains don't intuitively grasp exponential growth over decades.
This also impacts our risk perception versus reality. The media can distort risk perception, right? Making us fear market volatility but ignore inflation risk.
Exactly. That illusion of safety and cash during inflation can be very risky long-term.
And the concept of enough is fascinating. Why do some never feel secure, regardless of wealth?
Often the hedonic treadmill and lifestyle inflation. Income rises, spending rises. The goalpost for enough keep moving. Setting meaningful goals versus endless accumulation is key for contentment.
We also have to acknowledge luck, skill, and attribution. Recognizing the role of luck in financial outcomes is crucial. Don't attribute all success to skill or all failure to bad luck. Markets are unpredictable. Beware survivorship bias.
Which leads to the importance of building room for error. Healthy safety margins are psychologically vital. Planning for things to go wrong brings peace of mind. Avoid over-optimization that leaves no buffer.
Social influences too, peer pressure, social media comparison.
Huge. Everyone's situation is different. Avoiding keeping up with the Joneses is a critical defense.
The good news is you can develop healthy money habits.
Yes, automation removes emotional decisions. Systems working with psychology. Consistency over perfection. Making behaviors automatic, not relying on willpower. This fosters long-term thinking, helps you stay invested through cycles.
And finally, dealing with financial setbacks.
Normal emotional responses. Maintain perspective. Use support systems. Learn from mistakes. Setbacks are normal. Your mindset determines how resiliently you navigate them. Hashtag tag 4.2, basic estate planning and legal protection.
Okay, this next topic might sound like something for much later in life, maybe when you're older, wealthier. But here's the thing. Even when you're young, some basic legal protections are incredibly important.
Yeah, what's often overlooked is how frequently young adults dismiss these steps, thinking they're only for the wealthy or elderly. But unexpected events can happen to anyone at any age. Proactive preparation protects your loved ones from unnecessary legal hassle, costs, and emotional distress during a difficult time. It's about documenting your wishes clearly.
So why exactly do young adults need estate planning? If you die without a will, the intestacy rules kick in.
Exactly. In the UK, strict intestacy rules legally determine how your assets are distributed, and it might be completely different from what you actually wanted for your partner, family, or friends. It's about ensuring your wishes are respected and protecting loved ones.
So the first step is often making a basic will. What does that cover?
It covers vital decisions. Distribution of assets, guardianship of any minor children, absolutely crucial, and even funeral wishes. You need to be over 18, have mental capacity. DIY wills might work for very simple situations, but for anything complex, see a professional solicitor. Essential elements: name executors, beneficiaries, residuary clause, proper signing, and witnessing.
And it needs updating.
Definitely. After marriage, divorce, kids, major asset changes, and store it safely where it can be found.
Beyond a will, there's power of attorney. Why would someone young need that?
Power of attorney grants someone legal authority to act for you. A lasting power of attorney, LPA, for property and financial affairs, and another for health and welfare. You might need one due to illness, accident, long travel, or mental incapacity. It ensures someone trusted can manage your affairs and make critical decisions if you can't. Choose attorneys carefully. Have backups. LPAs must be registered with the Office of the Public Guardian to be valid.
And in our digital world, we have digital assets too.
We do. Digital estate planning covers social media, online banking, photos, files, cryptocurrency, digital investments. How will loved ones access those without instructions? Subscriptions need canceling. Create a digital asset inventory. Passwords, accounts, access instructions. There are even digital legacy services now.
What about life insurance for young adults? Only needed if you have dependents.
Primarily, yes, if the people rely on your income. But also if you have significant debt that would burden others, or if your income supports a partner, even if unmarried. Main types are term life, covers a set period, versus whole life. Calculate coverage based on debts, income replacement needs, keep beneficiaries updated. Check for employer group life insurance too.
And for couples, especially unmarried ones.
Specific documents become more important. Cohabitation agreements can protect financial interests. Understand joint accounts. Property ownership tenants in common versus joint tenants have different inheritance implications. And medical decisions are the health LPA ensures your partner has legal standing.
When should someone definitely seek professional legal help?
Complex family situations, significant assets, tax planning needs, beneficiaries with special needs, definitely see a professional. Regular reviews are wise too. But for simple cases, cost-effective options exist: online wills, citizens advice, know when DIY is okay versus when expertise is needed. Hashtag 4.3, don't forget to enjoy life.
Finally, after all this really important talk about planning, strategy, taxes, wills, it's absolutely vital to take a breath and remember why we do all this in the first place.
Mm.
This isn't just about accumulating numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about building a fulfilling life.
It's the ultimate balance, isn't it? It's incredibly important to be financially smart, make conscious decisions, build for the future. But it's equally, if not more important, to consciously enjoy life along the way. Don't fall into that trap of sacrificing all present joy for the sole purpose of maximizing money for some distant, uncertain future.
That reframes it beautifully. Prioritize experiences. As we discussed with the 4 resources, some experiences are time sensitive, tied to youth or health. Focus on what truly brings you deep happiness: travel, learning a skill, quality time with loved ones. Value those intangibles over just material objects.
Exactly. It's about building a life that feels genuinely rich and fulfilling, not just a bank account that's numerically rich. The ultimate goal isn't the most money, but the optimal balance of resources, time, health, experiences, money, plus the wisdom to live fulfillingly at every stage.
Being wealthy in the truest, broadest sense. So as we wrap up this deep dive, our mission really was to provide you with a comprehensive, actionable understanding of personal finance. We've tried to go beyond just the numbers, integrating those practical steps with that broader framework of managing your 4 key life resources: time, health, experience, and money.
And we truly hope that you now feel empowered, that you feel you possess the tools, the insights, the understanding to make conscious choices, optimize those trade-offs, and build sustainable financial habits for your whole life's journey.
So consider this as a final provocative thought to leave you with. If true wealth isn't just about how much money you accumulate, but how effectively you manage all 4 of your life's resources: time, health, experience, and money. What is one small conscious choice you can make this week to intentionally rebalance those resources towards a more fulfilling life, not just a richer one?
Take that thought with you. Apply what you've learned today, reflect on your own unique situation, and continue your own lifelong deep dive into your personal financial journey.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.